Hi, I'm your girl Snowsky. Here with Choco Man. We're reacting to
Big Tugg. Everything weird about the 2000s.
Yay!
Yeah, it's just this part's muted.
Weird. Don't know why. I'm standing here with a muted, shirtless, hairy man.
Why does he gotta mute his website?
The 2000s.
Weird.
The 2000s. Remember the 2000s?
I am 2000s. Who smells pod or wood smells pods? Oh, I prefer the booba ones.
Booty.
These are booty man.
A decade that had no catchy little. It's annoying because I remember growing up in the 2000s and thinking that like the 70s sounds cool, the 80s sound cool. Now we're.
Remember when we thought the 70s?
You know what was cool? You know what was cool? Hold on, I remember going to Best Buy and playing Super Smash Brothers Melee in the store.
I remember going to Best Buy and buying anime there. I used to go there all the time, and now don't even sell DVDs.
You know that they don't do that hardly anymore, where they have games set up. I think Walmart still does, but there's like no good games on their thing or whatever. I don't know.
Let's let you know that
it's not the same.
in the 2000s, this movie was 20 years old, and now the 2000s were 20 years ago.
Back to the Future.
Just in the 2000s, like it's not as catchy. People start calling it the noughts or the aughts or whatever. It was Y2K was the coolest one so far, and it's still pretty fucking lame. But the 2000s had a certain feel to it, you know. It was like the Matrix. Like everything was like digital and green a little bit.
Yeah.
And sure, the Matrix came out in 1999, so technically not the 2000s, but like
1999. These are summer.
Y2K, let's go. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember when the Matrix came out. I remember watching it on the farm when he first moved down there in '99.
Huh.
it definitely put out a little vibe towards the beginning of the decade at the very least. Because the Y2K era, I guess I'll say Y2K for the rest of this video, or the 2000s, it just sucks. It sucks saying. But the Y2K era was an edgy reality check. Everything was black and neon and...
You know, if I'm honest, the 2000 era, for me, it doesn't feel much different than how things are now.
Other than technology. It just... Because, you know, back then we didn't have good cell phones. I mean, our cell phones were the... I had the little Nokia ones that everyone talks about, the brick. That's what I had growing up. And how I lived out in the country, so reception on that thing was shit. It was dog shit trying to get a phone call on that thing.
Oof. Well, personally, I think it's just my mentality is what I'm referring to, because I don't feel like I'm any different from when I was a child.
Oh, mentality?
Green, and the vibe was extreme, and binary code was constantly flashing on screens. Everything was just amped up a little bit more, except for fashion, which I thought was terrible at the time, and now...
Ugh. I did not give to... Okay, that's another thing. My fashion is the exact same thing that I wore back then I wear now. Just...
You still have shirts you wear back then you wear now. What are you talking about?
You're right, I do. They're all torn up and junk that I use as
People are bringing it back for some reason. Like, even the Passion of the Christ.
Why you throw shit at me?
I throw shit at you because you paused it when I was still in the middle of a talking.
I thought you would... Oh, well, you want to finish your thought then?
You ruined my thought.
Which was a movie about Jesus, was violent as all for no fucking reason. But since it seems like we're becoming more and more nostalgic for this decade of tribal tattoo tramp stamps, I figured it's time to shine some light on what it was actually like. Because I was there, baby. I was there for crunkcore. I was there for baggy jeans and wallet chains. So...
Oh, yeah, that was a fad for like a minute.
You know, it probably is just me. Because
What?
I literally have not changed at all since the 2000s, since I was a child and stuff. I still have the exact same mindset. I don't pay attention to all this trend stuff. I wear whatever the fuck I feel like wearing, which is usually just sweatpants or baggy jeans. I don't even like pants. I hate the feel of pants.
Pajamas.
They're so uncomfortable. But yeah, just what I like wearing is just anime swag. That's my style, just anime swag. I have so many One Piece t-shirts. I got JoJo t-shirts. Oh, my Sephiroth drip.
Grab your Cookie Monster shirts and your Domo hats, because we're jumping directly into the years of the 2000
Still wear 'em,
decade
yeah.
era.
I love the baggy jeans.
It's terrible to say. I can't find a good way to say it.
Oh,
Yeah.
my childhood.
PlayStation 2. Do the one for the GameCube next.
There's a key right there. There's a game.
Before we even hit the year 2000, things were off to a rocky start. The Y2K bug was all
Modern slag. A culture is not words.
Skippity.
I don't care for your
hyped up for
boobies.
one ridiculously simple reason. It was essentially a calendar formatting issue. Computer memory used to be really expensive, so early programmers cut corners by abbreviating the year of the last two digits. But
Oversized t-shirt. Yes, and baggy jeans, chain pants, boots. There you go. That's the drip. That's the shit I still wear. Baggy shirts. Do not tuck that shit in. Just blah.
since the year 2000, the last two digits
Oh,
were going to be 00,
yes.
everyone thought that the computers were going to get stupid and scared and ruin everything all at once. Analysts had no idea what would happen exactly, which is terrifying, but many feared doomsday scenarios like bank closures, power outages, and nuclear disasters. Nuclear, I don't know. You guys get mad when I say that.
You know what? I feel like we've gone full circle. I think we're afraid of that happening now. But now it's more advanced because now it's AI takeover?
No, they're actually worried about when they get to the what was it? There's another computer bug. It's like Y2K
Huh.
that's coming in like 2032 or something.
Really?
I remember.
Dude, I've been hearing end of the world stuff supposed to happen this year, and now I'm hearing end of the world stuff supposed to happen to 27.
You know what the dumb shit is? Your aunt looks up the end of the world shit. Remember when she was on that weird trend? Mm-hmm. And then it's like telling me the world's going to end every 5 weeks.
Yep.
But never predicted COVID.
I look at people with skinny yeah, exactly. I like clothes that are comfortable.
And I understand I say it's stupid like George W. Bush, but you got whatever.
jeans.
It's the 2000s. The worst case scenario made for a pretty compelling story, and every media outlet was talking about Y2K. So while we had no idea what was going to happen, we had a lot of ideas of what could happen when this shit hit the fan. So businesses spent years overhauling their hardware and software, or went through the painstaking process of replacing and rewriting all of their code. And while companies and organizations and governments were all scrambling across the earth to get everything ship-shop shape for the big 2000, religious and far-right groups were connecting the Y2K bug with the biblical last days and the second coming of Jesus.
America. Fuck yeah.
Forget all the
Christians,
weapons.
turning computers into Jesus since 2000. Preppers were
Was that Jesus made out of shrimp?
Yes.
building
How was he
shelters
made
and
out of
stocking
shrimp?
up on canned goods, and lots of people were buying guns. So many people, in fact, that the FBI reported background checks for prospective gun buyers rose by 15% in 1999. People were just buying guns in case went south. Y2K survival kits were being sold in stores and on late-night infomercials, and Christian-flavored
To be fair, my dad, he bought guns because he was a big gun collector. So he did that before it was thought to be cool.
Didn't you fill your bathtub up that night this happened?
Yeah, you're right. He did start getting paranoid and freaking out and filled the bathtub up with water.
Oh yeah, the internet storm. We've seen that.
Yeah, we saw that one. Being an end of the world, it's a really good end of the world vid. Yeah, we saw that one.
survival guides were filling up bookstore shelves. Books like Millennium Meltdown, Spiritual and Practical Strategies to Survive Y2K. Or the simple but effective, Y2K, It's Already Too Late. People back then need to understand better when things are purposely trying to scare you. That's so...
Oh, there it goes.
Yay!
Pasty George super chatted
Angry.
$7.20. On your next singing session, could you do Apple by Charlie XCX? The lady VTuber Cypress did it and made it available on YouTube Music. It would be a great way to boost your popularity.
All right. Maybe
If I even know said song, I'll have to look that up.
I'll make sure. Let me take a picture of that.
Yeah, take a picture of that so I can look that up later. Thank you.
But yeah, go ahead and hit play.
Okay. Yeah.
on the nose. Some
Thank you for the
companies
10.
skipped the books
Thank
altogether
you.
and produced home videos about the coming apocalypse. One of the more popular videos featured Leonard Nimoy comparing the Y2K problem and our inability to rein in our own technology to the story of Atlantis.
We recall the fate of Atlantis. The primary question for our civilization as we approach the year 2000 is this. Have we allowed our own highly advanced technological innovations to far outpace our human ability?
Dude, you know what's funny? I felt like I watched this.
He's the voice of the Doctor, or he's the voice in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and 3.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he's I forget what is it, like the like a scientist or something. But he's in Kingdom Hearts. He actually died before they got... His last work was Kingdom Hearts 3 before he died.
I think he might have been Xehanort, maybe?
Yeah, Xehanort.
I think.
To control those innovations, and most importantly, to foresee.
Yeah, I want
their
to say he
ultimate
was
consequences.
Xehanort.
What the was going on in the year 1999? While a very loud portion of the population was losing their collective minds, the adults were quietly fixing things behind the scenes.
Fuck.
President Clinton had a Y2K czar in charge of overseeing nationwide compliance, and private companies spent an estimated $122 billion to fix their systems. And across the
Oh, you
world...
want to do a sexy mode for him?
Oh! I forgot about Sexy Mom.
I almost forgot to. Sorry.
That number is estimated to be at least $1 trillion fixing this bug. And when the clocks finally hit midnight and the new millennium began, nothing of note happened. Everything just kept continuing, and No Doubt performed the MTV set. It's historic. You should go watch it on YouTube. But the public's reaction to humanity solving the Y2K problem foreshadowed contrarian and conspiratorial vibes that have come to define the 21st century. And it's not to say everyone thought this was all peachy. A lot of people believe to this day that the Y2K bug was a scam.
VCR TV for my all VCR types. Crazy. Cool. Well, we almost had a VCR TV, but the poor thing didn't work, so I ended up gutting it
Yeah.
to try to make an art project out of later. But I do have my original just VCR, and then we could figure out how to hook it
You know
up
what I
and
get
stuff.
from Mom if she ever wants to get rid of it? That VCR DVD combo.
Oh, that's cool.
To get, like, you know, a lot of money to pretend to fix shit. But honestly, if programmers weren't smart enough to see that their shortcuts were going to cause a huge issue in a couple of years, I don't think they were smart enough to scam everyone.
Another 5.
Wow.
Pasty George super chatted $3.60. Atlantis was at the eye of the Sahara. The
Oh.
YouTube channel Bright Insight shows all the evidence, including the reshot structure.
Huh.
Oh, that's why it says 3, because it's Canadian.
Name Monopoly money?
Does that qualify as a moan?
Yeah, why not?
But it's Canadian moans. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Later on down the line. You know what I'm saying? But there were signs that Y2K could have been much worse. So most of the issues were fixed. There were still some huge issues in nuclear power plants, like in Japan and Tennessee. Didn't think those two areas would ever be in the same sentence. But perhaps the worst result overall of the Y2K issue came from a video rental store in Cologne, New York. They charged a customer $91,250 fine for a technically 100-year-old rental that they never...
What?
So when the clock rolled over, they had their tape?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Back in the old days, kiddies, we had to go up to a place called Blockbuster to go get...
Blockbuster!
And if you didn't return your tape in time, you got charged late fees. Apparently the computer thought they had the tape for 100 years. It charged them $91. $2.
Oops. It was bad.
Pasty George super chatted $1.44.
$1.44 for your 2 Canadian dollars.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
But could you imagine returning it and you got charged that?
Yeah, no, just
I'm keeping the fucking tape at that point. What are they gonna do?
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I still have my PlayStation 2 Game Shark that was rented from Blockbuster, and it was just stolen. They're out of business now. It don't
What are they gonna
matter.
do? Come after us?
back, technically never brought back when it was overdue. And that person was like, you dipshit, we didn't have technology to watch VHSs in the year 1900. What are you doing? Wait, would that be 1900? No, that was 1,000 years before. What?
Game Shark, the magic.
I'm a dipshit. Chris, do not leave that.
I still use my Game Shark too. I like it. It's a pain in the buns to find new codes though. New codes for old games because the website's really hard to find. Because I was trying to get codes for our friend's Godzilla game.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, anything like that's gonna be hard to find now.
That in. Anyway, let's talk about 9/11. Let's move on. Well, the
get into
Y2K
that.
problem ushered in a new millennium for Americans. The aughts, or Y2K, or 2000, whatever the fuck, really started on September 11th, 2001. It's crazy to think about now, but
There's so many conspiracy theories about that now.
I don't know. Do you remember that day? Because I just distinctly remember it.
I kind of do. I just remember my dad watching the news, and I didn't have to go to school, I guess, or it might have been after school, maybe.
Yeah, it was after school because it happened
Yeah.
while we were at school. I remember the day. The school I went to in the country, there was two roads where there was one road where if you were getting picked up by your mother, or if you're getting picked up by someone, you would look out and see your car. If not, you get on the bus. Well, I just got in line to get on the bus because it was a Tuesday. I'm like, why the hell would mom be picking me up on a Tuesday? And I look out and I happen to see her truck out there. I'm like, why the hell is she picking? Well, why is she picking me up on a Tuesday? And I go in there and she's like, yeah, I asked, why are you picking me up? She said, well, a plane flew into World Trade Center. And my mind immediately thought the UN building. I was thinking a Cessna into a UN building. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. And then we went to get gas. In the one little town, the one gas station, there was a line going down the highway, people getting gas.
Oh, because everyone was freaking out.
By the time we got to the gas pump, they ran out of regular and we had to get premium. Like, I'm not joking, they ran out of gas.
Wow. Well, for me, I just remember going to school, and then when I got home, like I said, I saw my dad watching the news, and he had it on the news, and I was like, meh. And then I think, ultimately, all I did was I turned around, went to my bedroom, played video games. That's it.
And my mom told me she thought something was weird because she saw a plane flying when she was coming home from work that night, or that morning. So a plane flew around, and then turned around and went back to where I guess it was this. I guess they told them go wherever they were going to.
Because they were worried that there would be more attacks and junk.
They grounded planes for 2 weeks afterwards.
Ultimately, 9/11 didn't affect me at all. It was just another day for me.
I remember a girl was crying the next day. She thought she was going to die.
I did not give two shits, to be honest. I thought, just another news story, people dying, whatever. That's exactly my mindset. And this was a little 11-year-old me. So yeah, I didn't give. What a cool... It says all my PS2 games. I got my BIOS from my PS2 on my PC. Can relieve my memories. Aw, that's cool. I was at school when it happened. They rolled in a cart TV to display it. The news coverage, at least.
Shit.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my school also didn't give two shits about what was going on
until they got out of school.
The world of 9/11 existed before the technological advancements we take for granted today. Because this was pre-social media and pre-smartphone. This terrorist attack unfolded live on morning talk show TV, which is just, it's like a horror movie. It's like Cloverfield.
Imagine if it happened now. With everybody with their smartphones, everybody recording. Just imagine that. You would have so many different angles. I mean, look at the angles we got now with people with camcorders.
All the confusion and anticipation just underscored and heightened an already horrific event. People had front row seats to watch the towers get hit by planes and eventually fall down into rubble. It felt surreal. Like it was like watching a disaster movie, but it was happening that morning. I make 9/11 jokes. I'll do that. But like, if you watch the clip...
9/11 and over 3,000 plus activities, word and engage. We backed it up by science, and they showed that the evidence by NIST did not add up. All the conspiracy funds. I had some family that could have been hurt in it. I remember it. There was nothing in my life that was affected by 9/11. I had no one living in the New York area at all. And so, yeah. And again, 11-year-old me could care less.
Yeah.
Really makes you feel sick. It is a terrible day. But of course we know this story, but the reason I bring it up is to give context for how sad, confused, and angry we were at the time. 9/11 is often viewed through the lens of the war on terror, but if you start from the beginning, I think it's easier to see how we were so irrationally angry and ended up doing stupid things. And I'm going to tell you every stupid thing that we did because of 9/11, but I just want to tell you a quick story about 9/11 really quick. So my dad was a trainer at the time, training business people, and one of his trainees was at the Twin Towers that day. The story goes is that they couldn't get a hold of her because no one had cell phones. So she was, just like lost for 2 days. And a lot of people were back then. During 9/11, people just kind of disappeared because they found, refuge in other people's houses.
Or this happened during the Joplin tornado, but a lot of people that were on parole during the Joplin tornado just disappeared, never to check back in with the parole officer.
Oh.
I wonder if that didn't happen.
Huh. See, crazy conspiracy about 9/11. It was inside job. I'm like, what? How? Really don't feel the weight. I was still young enough where it feels like just a thing that happened. Exactly. Yeah, me too.
It's just because I was 11, almost 12 at the time.
Y2K today that will be financial home in weeks.
Funeral home.
Oh, woof.
But the story goes is that they told everyone to go to the south or whatever, the bottom of Manhattan, so they could take ferries over to New Jersey. And she found a cop, and she was like, "Hey, where do I go?" And he's like, "Go that way. You'll be safe."
What?
By the way, the Red
Sorry,
Sox.
what do you mean by you gotta talk to a guy about Chris Chan flipping out?
What, is he doing something? Do we need to watch something on him or what?
Sox, because she was wearing a Red Sox hat. In the darkest moment of New York City, a New York cop told a Bostonian wearing a Red Sox hat to go f herself. And I think that's what America is all about.
Even still.
I think that's beautiful. I just wanted to tell that story. I never had a chance to until now. Anyway, stupid things that we did after 9/11. Number 1, calling French fries freedom fries for a little bit. I don't know what the French had
That was a theme for like a minute. I remember that.
Yeah.
to do with 9/11. I don't know why we were angry at them. In early 2003,
Yeah.
Americans were gearing up to invade Iraq, and French refused to support the military operation. Oh, okay. That's what the French did. They were being smart.
Huh?
I don't know.
9/11 did not affect me or any of my friends and family either. However, a lot of us thought it was very strange after a lot of us watched the documentary about it. And I love and hate our country. Well, help me. Yeah.
Neil Rowland, owner of the Cubby's restaurant in North Carolina, decided the patriotic thing to do would be conceptually boycott France by selling freedom fries. This caught the eye of
No
Congressman
fries.
Bob Ney, who just so happened to be the chairman of the House Administration Committee, which meant that he was in charge of overseeing operations at the Capitol. Ney ordered that
Freedom
all the words
fries.
French be taken away from the menu at the Capitol and be replaced with the
Freedom
word freedom. Now, even
toast.
at the time, a lot of congressmen saw this as silly and a bit performative, but that didn't stop Congressman Ney, and a week before the U.S. invaded Iraq, all House office buildings were serving freedom fries. Predictably, the French...
Did they change French toast too?
It's now Texas toast. Super Texas toast.
If it's Texas toast, it's garlic, not cinnamon.
They didn't really give a shit at all. Why would they give a fuck about anything I just said? And when asked for a comment, the French embassy spokeswoman said, "We are working these days on very, very serious issues of war, peace, life, or death. We are not working on potatoes." And she was right to say that. I mean,
Yay!
Jesus Christ. And also, I don't want to point out the obvious, but French fries aren't French. They're Belgian, so that's an issue right out the gate. And if this is how we're deciding we're showing our...
Well, in Belgium, they speak French. Like, we had a guy from Belgium, we all call him Frenchie at work.
patriotism by getting rid of the word French in front of other
rid
words,
of
which
the
I'm all
French
for. I
from
hate the French.
my
How about we show a little
toast?
goddamn consistency? We got French horns, French braids, French press, French inhale, French kiss, French tickler. What is that last one? Why is that on this list? But at least they didn't outright ban French.
I'm surprised. Did he listed all that French stuff, but he did not say French toast, did he?
No.
That's funny. That's funny.
Fries, which is what radio stations did to many songs in the immediate aftermath of 9/11. Clear Channel Communications, now known as iHeartMedia, sent out a list of 164 songs it didn't want played on the radio stations. A lot of these...
Like Dragon Ball, like Dragon Pool.
Drowning Pool?
Drowning Pool.
What the fuck's Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball Z and Drowning Pool had mixed
Okay,
up.
Drowning Pool song, Let the Bodies Hit the
Let
Floor.
the bodies hit the floor. Let the
That came out
bodies hit
before
the floor.
9/11, and they couldn't play for a year and a half on the radio.
Dude, that's not. I'm waiting for him to get into when he talks about shows. There's a lot of kids shows they had to mess with.
The Simpsons episode.
The Simpsons when they went to New York, stuff like that. Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah. The Pizza Hut had the New York style with the Twin Towers on the box. He had to remove the boxes.
There was a lot of things they messed with. It's stupid. Personally, I think that's really dumb that they did all that.
Made sense. Some of these songs have a completely different meaning when you listen to them in the mentality of someone who just witnessed 2 buildings fall in the middle of Manhattan. Some of them, like Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel, that would be an issue. Dust in the Wind, that's also an issue. I'm on Fire, big bad move. And REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It. Now, I get why they were trying to walk away from these things. However, the Bangles song Walk Like an Egyptian was on the list, and that was a little confusing.
What? Walk Like an Egyptian? You know the Indian of JoJo?
Yeah.
That got removed? Maybe because it was talking about the Middle East or something? I don't know.
Did the Egyptians do 9/11?
I don't know what that has to do with the Twin Towers, but the biggest revelation on the list is that the fact that they banned every single Rage Against the Machine song. Like they didn't
What?
Oh, really?
just single out Killing in the Name or Sleep Now in the Fire. They outright banned every single Rage Against the Machine song from playing on any radio station.
Whoa.
Which, considering the whole Rage Against the Machine vibe is anti-establishment, really, they should get a Lifetime Achievement Award for what they've been going for, because this is exactly what they should be doing. In the wake of these songs being banned, there was a void in music that was easily filled by a new strain of hyper-patriotic country music. Songs like Where the Stars and Stripes and the Eagles Fly, Only in America, This Ain't No Rag, It's a Flag, and America Will Always Stand dominated the country
much
airwaves.
country
This was the
music.
worst time to be a country music hater in America, I would say. But the most memorable of all these, let's be honest, pandering songs was Toby Keith's Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. According to Toby Keith, he wrote the lyrics on the back of a fantasy football sheet in 20-minute burst of inspiration. He might not have won the Fantasy Football League that year, but he certainly won America's hearts over and over again. Now, all of these songs,
They made a shit ton of money off it, I bet you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you do make money off of, what's it called? Patriotism?
Or tragedy.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going for. Make money off of a tragedy. I like visiting other countries when it comes to,
Conventions.
Oh, yes. I can't go to other countries, but I go to other states. Anime conventions, I hope. Anime conventions.
One was similar.
They hurt corn, too.
like I said, are absolutely pandering and kind of cashing in on the fear and anger that people were feeling at the time, and using ultra-patriotic lyrics to, really stoke the flames of, hating brown people, pretty much. And I think there's good argument to be made that these songs galvanized a generation of ultra-conservatives. I'm talking about the aggressive kind, who wear Second Amendment shirts on Disneyland vacations and have American flag Punisher decals on their truck, despite the fact that that is the opposite of what the Punisher's all about. Read a comic book, you f***ing dork. Okay, I swear I'm almost done talking about 9/11, but I have to mention the domino effect real quick. Because of 9/11, a lot of things happened, and one of those things that happened is Gerard Way, and I want to discuss that real quick. Gerard Way, a young Cartoon Network employee, witnessed 9/11 firsthand and decided to quit his job and start a band. That band was My Chemical Romance. So immediately, giant generation.
I did not know that. And he worked for Cartoon Network? That's interesting.
I wonder if he worked on Courage the Cowardly Dog the way he looks.
Shift
What is
in
this
what we're about
band?
to see here.
My
My Chemical
Chemical-
Romance inspired Stephanie Meyer to write a Twilight series, in particular the character of Jacob. It was dark and gritty, and that inspired her to make Twilight one of the best-selling books of all the 2000s. Then a Twilight fanfiction became a BDSM bestseller, 50 Shades of Grey. Then 50 Shades star Dakota Johnson became famous and invites Ellen to her birthday party. Ellen doesn't attend but calls out Johnson on Ellen DeGeneres' show for not inviting her. Johnson claps back, goes viral, and basically creates a spiral of online hate that, coupled with rumors of toxic workplace, buries Ellen's career. Meanwhile, Twilight
Where is this
star
going?
Robert Pattinson becomes famous and is cast by Christopher Nolan in the movie Tenet. And at the rap party, Robert Pattinson gave Nolan the book about Oppenheimer. Nolan ends up using that book as inspiration for his hit movie Oppenheimer, which at the same time coincidentally released at the same time as Barbie, making Barbieheimer. So Barbieheimer is because of 9/11.
My brain.
What just
See?
happened?
I'm scared. I think the dog looks like it needs to go outside. You can.
I just spit. Moving on. So now let's talk about the fun
Yeah,
shit
thank
about
you.
the 2000s. And the 2000s were a vibe that is hard to put into words, but a good way to depict the vibe would be the movies that came out during this time frame. Maybe the terrorists made music suck for a little bit, but don't worry, Y2K movies were wild as f. So up first, let's
Yay.
talk about the American Pie franchise. If you're not familiar with the films, oh boy, they are not patriotic as they sound. Remember when I said the 2000s were about cranking shit up and seeing what you can get away with? Well, the American Pie franchise was about pretty much teen sex comedies. It was all about teens having sex. But in the first one, the majority of the plot
You know, I never watched American Pie. I thought it looked stupid from the title.
It's stupid. Trust me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it wouldn't be my cup of tea of a show. So I'm just gonna stay away from it still.
surrounded a kid having penetrative sex with a hot apple pie. That was like the title of the movie. That was the plot point. Together,
Did he
the four
burn his
films in this
dick?
franchise have made just shy of $1 billion and
Darn.
turned a ton of spin-off sequels. Between 1999 and 2012, there were a total of 8 American Pie movies released. I don't know if I could genuinely say these are influential, but they were.
Why was this franchise so popular that it had this many spin-offs?
Because when a movie makes good money the first time, they have to milk it to death.
They milked it too much to the point where it was, I'm pretty sure it was garbage. I'm pretty sure it was always garbage. And Hangover only had 3.
Surprised they made more of them.
I know, I'm surprised too.
Certainly inescapable. But American Pie was just another in a long list of teen
American
films.
Pie,
You can credit
Jackass,
the creation of these movies to
stupid
directors
kid
like John
growing
Hughes in
up.
the 80s, but the formula was
Jackass
perfected in the
was
late
the
90s.
best.
Younger audiences were also bombarded with teen-centric horror films like The Faculty, Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But the tropish
Okay. This was what separates me from this genre, this age of the 2000s. When all this shit's going on, I was not watching it. Me? Anime. Me? Anime. Give me Tenchi Muyo, Outlaw Star, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon. Give me it all. G Gundam, fucking getting into, let's see, 2000s, Bleach, Naruto.
Yeah, you could argue that the 2000s led to the rise of anime. Well, I'd say in the 90s started, but more in the 2000s.
Now there's my stuff. All this stuff I ignored. I was like, fuck this shit. Even did Jackass stunt. Oh no. Yeah, no, I didn't pay attention to that stuff.
I miss Jackass was so cool back in the day. It was so funny.
But yeah, no.
formulas of these films led to a bunch of parody films. Parody films were huge in the 2000s, and they don't do them anymore, and I don't know why. They were a lot of fun. A lot of them were terrible, but they were a lot of fun. Not another teen movie skewered the 90s style. She takes off her glasses and all of a sudden she's a babe aesthetic, and Scary Movie gave the same treatment to slasher films. The first two...
No. Scary movie. I love the scary movies. I did like those because they were funny.
The one where they go to Japan, the one of the grads, and they were just saying random Japanese words.
That was the third one.
Scary movies are peak cinema. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't give a f. The Wayans brothers are geniuses. Scary Movie was a wild success when it released in
love
the summer
Scary
of 2000,
Movie.
and it kind of became a parody of itself. Even the movie poster had a tagline, "No mercy, no shame, no sequels." And a sequel immediately followed in 2001.
Yes.
And then another one came in 2003 and another in 2006. But the first two were good. It's kind of like the Home Alone movies. Don't watch the other ones. The first two are fine.
Oh, cool.
If you're seeing a pattern here, that's because in Y2K, sequels were all the rage. You had to make a sequel of a movie if it did well. There was the Spider-Man trilogy, the 5 Final Destination movies, 4
I love
Shreks,
Final
Pirates of the
Destination.
Caribbean, Harry Potter, and the Fast and Furious
Yep.
franchise, which started in the 2000s, and I think it's still going. The sequel trend hit so hard that it even pulled old films back into the theaters with Terminator, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Die Hard all dusted off to make studios millions. People were getting sick of it because it seemed like Hollywood was just spinning its wheels, regurgitating whatever seemed a little bit popular.
Oh yeah. Back then it was like, stop making all these sequels, and now it's, stop making all these live-action remakes. That's the change there.
Time. But there were some really good original movies during this era too. For instance, White Chicks. I do like the Wayans brothers.
do
I'm not
like
gonna hide
that one.
This 2004
That was a
movie
funny
was about
one.
2 black FBI agents that had to dress up as white chicks to escort some heiress. I don't know. It has no. I don't
Did
know
you
anything
ever
about the
see
plot. I just know
that?
the movie's
I've
fucking
seen
hilarious.
bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen the whole movie.
I've seen the whole movie was good. I like the whole movie, dude. I wonder how they could If they rewrote that with all like the trans stuff nowadays, I wonder how that would be different.
They would fuck it up.
All you really need to know about the movie is that the Wayans brothers, fresh off their success in Scary Movie, wrote and starred in a film that required them to wear whiteface. So movies were unhinged at the time, but it was nothing like the race to the bottom that Y2K TV was going for. If you were watching Comedy Central late at night in the 2000s, you definitely saw some infomercials for Girls Gone Wild. Easy.
Oh, yeah. That's right when I hit puberty.
DVDs were marketed as a compilation of girls lifting up their tops at spring break for titillating voyeuristic home video. But in reality, they actually featured hardcore and Chris, I don't know if you have to bleep that or not. Please look up the rules. The series started in 1997 and in just 2 years had made $20 million. It was wildly successful and even spawned a Guys Gone Wild spinoff. It's hard to express just how mainstream Girls Gone Wild had become. Everyone knew that it had shady aspects to it, but it still was like cool in a weird way. The founder hung out with celebrities like the Kardashians and Ashton Kutcher. But no surprises here. The methods to tape these girls during Girls Gone Wild were unethical and at sometimes fully illegal. And some of the tapes were found to have underage girls. Uh-oh, that's a huge...
It probably got them drunk and they didn't know what they were doing, or because they're young and stupid, and now they regret it for the rest of their lives.
Love those team.
Crime, distributing that to millions of people. Because of some inept work by law enforcement, the creator of Girls Gone Wild avoided jail time, and the only real reason the franchise failed was the rise in internet. But celebrities rubbing shoulders with pornographers and wearing their merch just shows how edgy the mainstream was in Y2K. It was an era defined by clubbing, and the young celebrities of the time were going way too f***ing hard, which fed into our obsession with celebrity gossip. We're talking about TMZ right now. TMZ started in the traditional tabloid fashion in 2005, but by 2007, it was running a successfully syndicated TV show. The main goal of TMZ's TV show was basically chasing down drunk actresses when they left the club. It was bad. It wasn't good. I've never liked this show. I didn't understand it at all. This type of media coverage definitely contributed to the mental health and substance abuse issues that stars like Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Kesha would go through. Everyone gets...
So basically, it's Paparazzi the movie.
Well, Paparazzi TV show.
And whatever. Movie, TV show, same
It's all shitty when, like, you know, Lindsay Lohan went through a huge drug issue and she fell off and all that shit, but, like, can you blame her?
Crazy, my neighbor across the street watches those, and she's a girl back in elementary school.
What?
Watches the TMZ, I'm hoping, not the other one.
She was being harassed every day, and she was just trying to have a little fun. F you guys. But Girls Gone Wild and TMZ are the logical extensions of Y2K's obsession with reality. Everything was supposed to have an edgy grime of authenticity, and every show on TV was mostly focused around the term reality. Reality TV has its roots in the 90s with shows like The Real World, but in the 2000s, this one's a novel.
I remember when they were trying to input reality bullshit in Cartoon Network.
What was the island one?
No! When they were making Cartoon Network with using real.
Oh.
That shit. You're lucky you did not see that. When they were doing like all this, they were trying to be like a kid version of Jackass or something, where I can't remember what it was called because I avoided it like the plague.
You know what my mom...
No, let me finish my rant here.
Okay.
I was so pissed because it's like, no, you're called Cartoon Network, not called Reality Bullshit Network. Get the shit out of my channel.
No, the Girl Gone Wild VHSs. What the But, no, you know what my mom watches religiously? Big Brother.
Yeah.
She fucking... Do not fuck for Big Brother.
Blur.
Don't fuck for recordings.
Blur.
You do not. She pays for the premium package to watch it 24/7.
God, I don't understand that.
I don't get it either.
Approach to media morphed into one of the only things that was ever on TV. Reality competition shows like Big Brother and Survivor opened the floodgates of competition shows because of their absolute killer ratings. And networks loved them because these shows were much cheaper to produce than typical scripted shows. It was a boon to cable television programmers and served as an easy way to fill up time slots. Pretty soon we had a lot of dog reality TV shows like The Simple Life with Paris Hilton. A lot of people like that show. I found it a little bit much. The market became oversaturated quickly, and in order for reality shows to stand out, it had to get really fucking weird. ABC had a show called Wife Swap, where two families would swap wives for 2 weeks, which I don't
My
know.
mom watched that.
You know, the only kind of reality TV I didn't mind watching if it was on and stuff?
What?
Jerry Springer.
Is that really reality?
I don't know. Drama, I guess. I don't know what
They
it's
had sex with the husbands. I don't think that was a part of it, but it was a very entertaining show. They'd take like a super Christian mom and like make her go live with a Satanist family. Like, I don't know where they found these fucking people.
Yeah.
And then there was Kid Nation, which was pretty much a social experiment where they got a bunch of kids and just like made them run a town. And when I say kids, I mean like 12 years old maximum.
Yeah,
I
that
think
didn't
a
last
kid
long,
died.
if I remember.
It wasn't good. It was
Like-
canceled after one season
Was
because
it
of child
Meat
labor laws
Cannon,
and a
or
little
was it,
snafu where a kid
Me, Cannon talked about it. I think also Cinnamon Toast Ken reacted to all the shows.
Oh, yeah.
drank bleach on set. I don't know if that kid died, but that's what I was talking about. Not to be outdone, Fox had a show called The Swan, where each episode, two quote-unquote ugly women would
I remember this show. I never watched it, but I remember seeing this.
Me too. Me too. At that
Go
point,
one-
no. Okay. Some other competition like reality shows, I guess they're considered. Stuff that I like to watch was Face Off.
Oh yeah.
That's the one where they make all the prosthetics and the costumes and stuff. They're makeup artists and junk, as well as Forged in Fire, where they craft the knives and junk and swords.
Brain rot growing up. I don't.
Of course, that's not 2000s. What am I saying?
of plastic surgery and then compete in a beauty contest to declare a winner. And if that is one of the most, that's like a Black Mirror episode. That is so f***ed up. And then there's one of my personal favorites, which is of course Fear Factor. Fear Factor, if you have any questions about what the 2000s
Did you
was all
watch that
about,
one?
that is it. It is Fear Factor. With Joe Rogan hosting, which this is all he was known for at the time, this show made people do continuous and scaling disgusting acts to win money. Some of the craziest Fear Factor challenges include, but are not limited to, sucking the milk out of a goat's udder with your mouth
Okay.
and then spitting the milk into a jar to drink. I'm gonna puke. I really can't do this segment.
It's
Sitting in a tub
disgusting.
full of cow intestines while chewing on guts until the fluid inside was released and then drinking it.
Okay, no, that one. That one.
I've seen the picture of the woman had a mouthful of worms.
Bobbing for rings in cow's blood, eating pizza made of cow bile crust, blood paste, rotten cheese, fish eyes, and worms. And then finally, a challenge so gross that Comcast canceled the show, making
Hold on.
What? What? Your brain broke over there?
Now I gotta sneeze. Damn it, I lost it. Brain rot growing up. I don't know if my time was worse or today.
Donkey, why? Oh, God.
Okay, what are they doing to the donkey?
the contestants drink donkey. Who let it get that far? So I'm going to say
I thought you
overall,
said
reality TV
cum.
went too far and eventually...
It sounded like he was saying
sucked
piss.
pretty big donkey balls, except for Survivor. That show was
Okay.
still fun. It was the release of the pent-up rage boner of shocking TV, sex scandals, and celebrity deaths of the 90s. It felt like everything that came next had to be explosive. That
Oh, yeah. I remember when Michael Jackson died. I was in college at the time.
I remember nothing.
meant that the innocent rap rock collaborations of Rum DMC and Aerosmith had become the rage bait of Limp Bizkit. Traditional activities usually enjoyed by children, like riding bikes in the woods, was transformed into adults breaking their necks doing the X Games. Even an
Yay.
obsession with pro wrestling, a seemingly innocent world of imagination
Yay.
in the 80s, led kids to create the death-defying world of amateur backyard wrestling. Even joking around with friends had been
I didn't start watching wrestling until, I want to say, 2004.
Yeah.
escalated into jackass and punked level pranks.
Oh,
This
yes.
era saw the beginning of the widespread use of the internet, but it predated social media, so the search for validation wasn't as easy as a few likes. This meant that even though you were able to meet strangers who had the exact same malfunctions as you still had to go above and beyond to signal to your people that you were one of them. Looking back, you can't help wonder that turning up the heat this high on culture made it so our current society is so unbelievably cooked. And I should have talked more about Jackass in this video. Maybe I'll make a whole video just talking about the backstory of Jackass, because like Big Brother magazine and all that
had worse brain rot growing up. You know what? They were not wrong. I don't know. Based off of some of the new shit I've been seeing,
It's not,
I feel like our brain rot was at least smart brain rot. Now generations, it's just, yeah, just nothing but complete stupidity. Without, I don't know. Okay. Let me take two cartoons and put them side by side, and you tell me which one you would rather watch. Teen Titans Go versus Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy was not made for kids. That was the thing. I will at least.
Okay, fine. Let me change Ren and Stimpy to Cow and Chicken. Let's go Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, but it's our brain rot. It was smarter back then.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Our brain rot was smarter brain rot.
Or Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go.
Well, no, that's just putting gold versus shit.
Can't kill yourself, all of that. It's so interesting. Anyway, leave your favorite trend of Y2K down below and everything I missed, because God forbid I didn't get touch pretty much anything in this video. I should have talked about way more.
Was that just a shoe? Or was that an earlier creator just then? What?
Oh, I don't know.
I did not know what you're talking about.
Oh, the lady was on her. I don't think that was Shoe on Head. At least I don't.
I don't know. You don't tell me. Let me say bye. Bye.